Hey everybody, Leah Klett here with the Christian Post, and I'm so excited today to be joined by author and Bible teacher Jennie Allen. She is the founder of the global prayer movement, Gather25. Gather25. What an event. 7 million people from over 200 countries and territories. Did you ever imagine this level of response when you first envisioned this event?
Well, I mean, you hope for it, but but certainly no. I mean, it is overwhelming. I have honestly just had a hard time processing it. It feels a little pretend, like a crazy dream, because there were so many ways it could have gone wrong. I mean, we were depending on technology that barely exists, right? I mean, we are on the bleeding cutting edge of what AI can do with translations. And so, when I walked through the studio right before we went live, all of the brilliant people that helped make this happen were saying things to me like, I, I mean, this has never been done before. We we think it's going to work, but so I think it's just such a miracle and the protection and favor of God and a lot of really smart people that have gifts that were used to make this happen.
Well, take me back and share a little bit about your heart for this event. How did this 24-hour, well, 25-hour global prayer gathering come about?
Well, I mean, we'd have to go back to 2022. Vivid Dream. At that point, we've been leading a ministry for the last decade that reaches women through live streaming. So we've done a live stream event for a decade with women, and we've reached 100 and something, 170 something countries with that. And we just seen the favor of God on the model of just putting the tool in everybody's hands and allowing them to lead it, allowing them to host it. And so it really, that had been 10 years of my life, and I never dreamed of doing anything bigger than that. It was pretty overwhelming as it was. And then I had this vivid dream that Jesus was coming back soon in 10 years. And I don't know when he's coming back, but in the dream, I felt very urgent and woke up and felt that same urgency to just reach as many people as possible with the gospel as quickly and as we can. And I think about the church and the church being mobilized to do that. And so I thought, what if we just take the model that we've used with If Gathering and invited the whole global church to gather? And it just, honestly, it just felt really simple. It felt like taking what God had given me through what we've done at If Gathering and just using it in a way to help the mission of God. So it didn't feel crazy, but later, as it kept going, it got crazier in my mind, and I realized what it would cost, and I realized that this would have to be an act of God doing it. There would be no way to accomplish it in human terms. I mean, we literally, when I dreamed that, AI wasn't even on the scene. Nobody was talking. Obviously, it existed, but nobody was talking about it. We didn't have Chat GPT. There wasn't familiarity like there is now with what AI can do, and so I just trusted that God would bring what we needed, and he has, and he did.
Yeah, there's so much hand wringing about AI right now, especially in the church. I think people are really scared of it, but you're seeing it as an incredible ministry tool and what it can do to further the gospel.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, guys, we're living in Pentecost, I mean, we're for the first time since Pentecost, and really go back to the Tower of Babel, like that languages haven't been a barrier. And so this is a miracle. And the only reason that the global church was able to gather for the first time is that technology. So praise God for it. I mean, is it dangerous? Yeah, but is God bigger and able you know, to do whatever he wants on earth? Yes. Like I trust that it exists because it will do things to help bring the gospel to the ends of the earth. Bible translation is dependent on it. It would not hit the mark that they set, which was 2033, without it. So yeah, I think right now we're all really blown away by how God is using that technology. It's really special and powerful.
Were there any particularly powerful moments that you witnessed during the event?
Oh, oh man. I mean, the whole thing existing just still, I can't believe it. But the moment for me that the Lord just whispered, you know, it's worth it. Like this has been worth it. It was um Africa. When Africa went live with the Burundi drummers and the Watoto Children's Choir who were rescued out of child, slavery where they were fighting wars. And one of them spoke directly to the camera and said, Jesus is enough for my suffering. And I mean, there were so many moments, but Africa just really got me. My son is from Africa. And so watching his home country host, it just was, I'll never forget that moment. And at that point, we were more than halfway. So I thought, oh gosh, this is working. Like, and we were reaching so far. The numbers were coming in of how far and how many countries we were reaching. And so, at that, somebody said once that, how do you know if you're obeying God? Like if this vision or whatever is from God. And a wise person once said, when it happens. And I think as confident as I was that the Lord had called me to it, I mean, there still was a part of me that wondered, like, God, are you in this? Are you going to show up? Can you do this? And so that was the moment for me where it had happened. We had done it, and so God had done it. And I'm telling you, we are the fish and loaves story. I mean, if you saw like what we started with and what we gave to God and said, yeah, we'll say yes. Like, what do you want us to do? I mean, he must have just thought that's so cute. Like they think they're about to do something. But he did it. He brought all the right people that we absolutely had to have. The number of people that participated in helping pull this off is in the thousands. We're talking production teams on 6, 7 continents, if you count the footage we got from Antarctica. We're talking about um, music and, volunteer teams and people to host. We're talking about 20,000 plus people that said, yes, I will host in my church, in my home, on my college campus. I mean, some of those events were anywhere from 1,000 to 5,000 people, and they hosted massive events when they didn't even know completely what the content would be. Because it was live, we couldn't really give them tastes. So it was just like, trust us, like this is going to be special. We're going to come together and pray. And they didn't know if it would be boring. They didn't know but the Lord just led them to say yes. And so I praise God for all of the people that are a part of this story. It wasn't just my yes, it wasn't just my team's yes, it was thousands of people saying yes to God.
Wow. Jennie, what does this event tell us about the hunger for unity, for prayer, and for revival in the global church?
Well, I think we for so long didn't believe in it anymore. We didn't believe God could move like that. I think we got really discouraged and cynical. And I understand why. There's not a judgmental bone in my body about that. I think I felt those things as well. But then something started to happen and people started to get hope again. And I think what Gather25 did for all of us is just to remind us that God is moving in a really powerful way on earth right now. And, we can't put names on it. History books will do that, but it sure smells like revival. It sure tastes like it. And certainly, when it's happening all over the earth in a similar fashion, and that's what we showed. We showed revival happening all over the earth. And in some cases, if you were to just watch a clip of it, you wouldn't know what country. You'd think it was the US, but it was Germany. And it was, hundreds of baptisms, thousands of baptisms. Paris, same thing happening. So you start to get confused, like, gosh, are they all talking to each other? Are they all like making a plan, like world takeover plan? And it's like, no, this is just the same spirit of God living in each of us and moving in a unique way. And that's when you get into awakening territory. And I will not put that name on it either, because I don't think we're there yet. I think when it really happens, there will be no denying it, right? I think when it really falls, nobody's going to have to put a name on it. You just know it. The whole church knows it. So I'm in the rooms where I see it. I mean, I'm watching just yesterday. I was at, or I'm losing track of my days. 2 days ago, I was at Purdue University, and I mean, I don't know, over 1,000 students came forward. It
Wow.
felt like more. I mean, it's just unthinkable, like what God's doing right now and what's happening. So it's starting, but I don't know what the craving is. I think we just all want God, and I think we're sick. A lot of things have failed us. A lot of things have been hard in the last 5 years, and I think we're just craving something real. Oh, I mean, that's one thing that that was so powerful because we didn't over program or formula, make a formula here. Like every country hosted their self. When I mean, again, I'm the founder, so if it goes wrong, it's gonna, I'm the one that's gonna take that heat. But you pass that microphone on, and you've done it. Like it's now New Zealand, and then it's Malaysia, and then it is Rwanda. So I think that was pretty incredible to see the unity of spirit, as if we had controlled what everyone was saying, as if we had programmed or prescripted everything, but it wasn't. We really were just of one mind and one heart and one spirit for 25 hours. And we were all different denominations. We were hosting out of all different types of churches and with different types of leaders. And there was just a unity in that 25 hours that was from God. You couldn't have manufactured, no human could have manufactured that. And so I think we are all craving something that's real. I think we're craving to see God move, and we're praying for our kids and their kids. We're praying that the gospel in the church thrives and grows. But I don't know. I don't know what it is we're all craving, but I think we were meant for God and built for God. And at some point, the world fails us, and we just want it to all be true. And I think what Gather 25 was, and everybody can go watch it. If you missed it and you're listening right now or reading this, anyone can go see this. It's for free right now online, gather25.com. We never charged for any of it. But what you'll see, I think, will give you great hope that the church is alive, well, and thriving.
Well, that's incredible. Jennie, thank you so much. Thank you for your ministry. We so appreciate your voice. It's just so needed. So,
Yeah, I didn't plan that, but here we are.
well, when God calls you, my dad's a pastor, and I always say, unless you're called into the ministry, I don't see why people do it because it's a tough
It's
calling.
true. Yeah. Yeah. And my thing is, I just want to work with God. God bless. Here's the thing. I am experiencing a harvest that so many before me have sown, and they didn't get this reward. I feel so much admiration for those in the trenches in hard places doing ministry week after week, day after day, with very little reward and very little praise. And I just want to say to anyone listening or anyone that reads this, well done. We know we are not in isolation. This is the fruit of in Purdue. There was a woman that prayed for so many years for what happened Tuesday night to happen. I mean, so many years of not giving up praying. And I want to honor all of those that have sown what we are reaping right now. So well done, and keep sowing. And for the places that we aren't experiencing a harvest yet, keep sowing, keep sowing. And I'm just praying that that does spread, and that the Lord has favor on our generation and those alive today, that he really would pour out mass revival, that many, many souls would be saved. That's what we're praying. And I think that's just going to take all of us.